Whoever's in charge of it hasn't got.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the campus.
Oh, was it you? Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to. And welcome to Football West's live coverage of the NPL WA Round 19. We are coming at you live from the campus. The champions versus the would-be champions of 2021. ECU Joondalup got it done last season in the COVID-interrupted, slightly crazy campaign that was. And this year, after the wheels have fallen off at Floriat, it looks like Perth SC, our visitors today, dressed in all white, have it all to do. They have it in their hands. We will start off, before I introduce you to our wonderful guest commentator here, with a minute's silence for one of WA football's greats, Jerry Mayo. Well, an immaculately observed minute's silence there for one of the old stages of the game in WA, Jerry Mayo. My name's Sean Fry. I'll be calling the action for you today, and alongside me, Football West man about town, Kalichi Osunwakel. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here, and first thing I'll get you to do today is say a few words about Jerry Mayo. What do you know about the great man? And he's going to be sorely missed, isn't he?
Sean, thank you so much for inviting me here. It's a great game to be at in terms of the importance of the match, but also a few words on Jerry. Jerry is what we'd call a proper football man. He lived, breathed football. He loved his family, and he loved Bayswater City, and you can see all the work that's happened there. His legacy will be hard to take and hard to emulate as well. On Saturday mornings, you'd see Jerry down at the club nice and early, marking the pitches, and also on Thursday nights, you'd also see him there grating cheese and making the bolognese for the team. He's going to be a sorely missed individual, and I think what sets Jerry apart from others is he really just told it as it was. He cared about the sport, he cared about people, and it'll be really, really hard to replace him. So to Rocky and the entire family, mate, we're grieving with you and sending all of our condolences as well.
Beautiful words. Thank you, Cal. As the hosts get us kicked off at the campus, a huge match in the title race, probably the biggest game of the season so far. As Joondalup look to play it out from the back early, expect them to do that. Shane Cassidy there doesn't mind playing a ball on the deck. He's got a good long diagonal on him as well. As that one played into the middle there, Danny Hodgson to play it out for a chance early, and it was Danny Hodgson curling it just wide of the right-hand goal post. Good start for the hosts.
That's an unbelievable start. They've taken the ball and played right the way through from the back. You're right about Shane Cassidy. He was composed there to beat his man and make the breakthrough, and they're going to be a little bit disappointed to not have forced the keeper to make a save, or at least get that on target, Sean.
Well, keep an eye on how things are lining up for me, Kel. It looks like, as we've come to expect, ECU in a back three. There's Nelson Shongo and Shane Cassidy either side of the centre half in the middle there. And they'll have a couple of wing-backs looking to get forward in Riley Woodcock. And who we got on the other side there? We'll figure that out for you. Bit of a glare here at the campus. We've got a beautiful vantage point up here. I told you about how good it is to call games from here. Depending on the time of day, it's when it's a bit gloomy and there's some cloud cover, it's nice and easy. But we do have a fair little glare coming our way, don't we, Kel? You're just stepping back in the shade there.
Got to step back, man. I've done the rookie mistake and not brought the sunglasses, so I'm going to have to rectify that in the second half, Sean. Would have been nice for you to have told me that.
All right, my fault as always. If anyone's got some sunglasses and are anywhere near Joondalup, come and give them to Kel. Because that one's hoof tight. But basically, Kel, it's winter in Perth. You've got to know you're going to need your sunglasses. Nelson Strongo comes back here. The Palmatier returns the pass, and Strongo's going to stride away from young Jaden Gorman. A little drop of the shoulder there, nice, but lost the ball there. Great tackle there from Nicholas McDonald, getting one in early. You love one of those in these games. Standing strong, the young man there is more Gorman, and how good was that? The body positioning and the composure there of the young fella, Kel.
Mate, that was superb. Even the little dummy fake there with the fake right to go to the left was great. But again, the big problem there that you saw just before he got that ball was Cal Whitney taking his time, keeping composed, cutting inside and also making that pass as well. You look out for Cal Whitney for the rest of this game.
Well, no surprise why Perth are on the tear that they're on, and that passage of play almost sums them up, doesn't it? It's a big crunching tackle from Nicholas McDonald, some composure in midfield from Cal Whitney, as you mentioned, and then a little bit of flair from the young man, Gorman. He's putting a bit of pressure on now. Really excited to watch him play, Jaden Gorman. I've seen a lot of him through the years. He's scored goals in cup finals for their youth teams, and always a player to watch as they've turned it over again in midfield there. Not something they want to do too much of against this Perth side, Joondalup. They're going to have to be wary. They gave it away to Christian Santich, who I didn't recognise, Kel. And can you recognise him? What's going on there?
I think he's done the Gaza and he's gone beach blonde. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm becoming very conservative in my old age, Sean, and just being like, why would you dye your hair blonde, mate?
Oh, it's always the diminutive fiery redhead is now the diminutive fiery bleached head, I guess we have to call him, Cal. It doesn't quite have the same ring to it, but we'll get used to it. But not the kind of man you want to give the ball away to in midfield.
Still, no, not the man you want to give the ball away to in midfield. And he did well there, and he kind of flailed and looked for a free kick. Wasn't coming today.
Expect these to go long to Domfay all day. He's going to back in and rise. Couldn't get there. Palmatier in position A. Perth headed around the back and dispossessed there from... Oh, the player who wanted to stride forward there was Riley Woodcock. He just stepped on the ball. Perth maintain possession at the back. The skipper, Bojan Radinovic, spreads it, and they'll come out on the left-hand side. Colwell will turn back, and then turn back again, and have his ball down the line blocked. And as I was saying, no surprise why Perth are where they are. They've just started to put a string of results together, obviously aided by their wheels absolutely falling off the Floreat Athena bandwagon after their first 12 games of the season. Perth now undefeated in their last 8. They've lost just 1 in their last 15, which is staggering numbers, and this is why they now lead the league, and it is in their hands as Jaden Gorman tries to dance around a couple and is only beaten by the touchline. Are they the champions-elect, Kel?
It sure seems that way, Sean. I mean, they've got the players who are coming on form now, and they're rounding off with a decent bit of form, as you've said. It will take a lot to have teams actually take that gap and close that gap that they've got there in terms of points. But you look at it now, Sean, and we made a big point about it earlier off air, is they're not conceding goals and they're scoring goals as well, Sean.
You said to me, Kel, that defence wins championships. It's an old American phrase. I'm sure there's an equivalent in English. Not that the Americans don't speak English, Kel, but it's just a different version. But, yeah, they are in some sort of form, and defensively they might only have the 7th best attacking record in the league with 30 goals across their first 18 games, but They have conceded just 18. It's the best defensive record in the league. It's a goal a game. So they know if they score one, if they score two, they're going to be very, very hard to beat. And that does a lot for a side.
It does a lot for a side, especially knowing that if you score one goal, chances are you're going to get yourself a draw.
And there's not many teams in the NPL that can say that, Kel. It's a high-scoring league. We see it week after week. Scores at 4-2, 4-3, not uncommon every weekend. So if you have that defence, as Cassidy just gives Parmentier a little job to do, which he deals with aplomb, and goes back to his Irish stopper and captain in Johnny Perkins, who gets a first little pass there under pressure.
It looks like Joondalup are playing with a 4 here today, Sean, with Sashongo playing at the left back.
Yeah, my apologies. It looked like the way they were shifting, unless that's the right wing back pushing well forward. Parmentier and Cassidy pairing together, it looks like it. I thought Riley Woodcut would be playing as a wing back. Looks to be more of an orthodox left winger, Kel, you're right, as he pushes up forward and hustles his way onto the edge of the 18-yard box as Joondalup play with it on the far side, nipping in there and drawing a foul beautifully as the young bleach-haired diminutive midfielder in Christian Santich. Just experience there.
We talk about it all the time, that these 22, 23-year-old players have just got all this experience in the world in terms of knowing exactly when to just nip in front, get the touch, go down, get the free kick. Happens all the time defensively. You're mad as a striker, but as a defender you're going, what else am I supposed to do, right?
Yeah, just a cool head. You get there first, you get the free kick. Parmentier wins again. He's won about 3 in a row at the back there. Luke Parmentier. And looking more and more like a flat back 4 now as Joondalup do step forward with the ball. Putting the pressure on there was Daryl Nicol, who I didn't have starting on my team sheet here, but unmistakable, the gold medalist, the way he just shifts the ball from left to right, and hard to get a touch on him. And when you do get a touch on him, it's usually without the ball, and he's won a free kick there in a good position for Joondalup.
Dangerous area there, and you've got to go back to the miss kick there from Montgomery. He's put this team in needless pressure here, and you've got to back them to get a shot on target, surely, Sean.
Well, it was a triumvirate of potential free kick takers. It's now just a duo as Hodgson leaves it there for a clipped ball to the back post by Higgins. Nothing there for me, Kel. The shouts will go up, but it didn't look a penalty in a month of Sundays. Santich in the way of that one. Cassidy will play that one back to Johnny Perkins. He gets it in a little puff of sand. Did well to get it out of his feet, actually. And just hoofing that one away for the man that's down. It is Danny Hodgson. The questions will still go on about a potential penalty. No VAR in the NPL yet, Kel.
No, not yet. I didn't think it was a penalty for me. If you're giving that a penalty, then you're going to be giving 4 or 5 penalties a game. I do want to just change tact here and say it's a joy watching Shane Cassidy playing right now, playing in the NPL. He was a guy who was playing in Shamrock Rovers years ago and was plying his trade there with John O'Reilly and working really hard to get up here. And now to be a fact that he's a league winner and he's still playing in the Premier League with ECU Joondalup is just terrific to see. So, vale to Shane Cassidy there.
He's had a good start to this one. Obviously a good career at the Jacks so far. The one title in the bag. They will still be pushing for a second title this year. It's not quite all done, Kel. It's not all she wrote yet, as they are 10 points off the top, but they do have a game in hand, which would bring it back to 7 if they can beat Inglewood. If they win today, it's only 4 with 3 games to go, and perhaps then Perth have to start looking over their shoulders and getting nervous about the Jacks once more. They left it late last season. They like to come good at the business end, but so far this season's been the absolute opposite. They started with 6 wins in their first 7, and then I said the wheels fell off at Floriat. If they've fallen off at Floriat, they're barely hanging on here at ECU.
Let's say that they theoretically get that win there. What's the rest of their run-in look like for ECU Joondalup, Sean?
Well, ECU, I think, probably have the easiest run-in of any of the sides at the top. So if they do get these wins, they'll back themselves. It's Perth, rather, that have the easiest run-in. Joondalup, not quite as easy. They've got Inglewood. They do have to play Floriat. So the two battle of the cars without wheels, as we mentioned. Will be a very interesting match-up, that one. As Joondalup go forward here. A chance for Hodgson to at least keep it in. He got that one all wrong, and it'll be a goal kick. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong fixture list there, Kel, when I said the easiest run in. Perth's run in, if we can look at that first, is Sorrento, which is a tough one next week, the informed Sorrento. But then they play the two bottom sides, Rockingham and Balcatta. Now, you think that's not a good run in. But we'll have a discussion about that shortly. ECU have that game in hand, as we mentioned, against Floreat. And then Bayswater and Coburn in their last two, and away at Floreat before that. So, yeah, whether that's an easy run-in or not, you think the Bayswaters and the Coburns are the teams that you want to be playing in the last round. So you think they've got the easiest run. I think it's Perth as the ball comes in and Johnny Perkins claims it. Why are you trying to tell me, Kel, that Bayswater and Coburn are easier to beat than Rockingham and Balcatta?
I just want to say that when you're playing there at Safe Frad Stadium in the last couple of games of the season, Rockingham need a point or need 3 points to stay up. That's a very, very tough game. That's a very, very tough and difficult game. And no disrespect to Bayswater or to Coburn, but when Bayswater's playing in there and there's not necessarily a top four to play for or relegation to play for, that becomes a different prospect altogether. Whereas if you're playing against a team, and again, Perth haven't had the best set of history there at Rockingham as well. I remember Big Cam Lord getting a couple results against the big boys there down at Safe Frad Stadium. It's a hostile environment, it's a hostile crowd, and you don't necessarily want to be playing one of these teams knowing that they might need a draw or a win to stay in the league. That's a tough game.
Nickel looking to go around Bird there. He just did well enough, Lachlan Bird, and Nickel in the end will settle for a corner, but that looked dangerous for Joondalup. Anytime Darryl Nickel gets near it, you know there's a chance of something being created. Almost doesn't matter where he is, but I'm going to respectfully disagree with your point, Kel, and say that I think if I'm playing the last two games of the season, I want to be playing the teams that can't win games of football. And at the moment that's Rockingham and Balcatta. So probably the two easiest runs for different reasons. But it'll be interesting. Ball over the top there. Slight mistake from Montgomery. I think he would have liked to have got more on that. It comes back out for a clip across the box there from Jakub Praja. It'll come back out now to Nelson Deshongo, cleared by the Perth defence. But ECU off to a reasonable start here. They're pushing and pushing the visitors, trying to force them back, and have probably had no real chances of note, but the better of the build-up. Players appeal for a free kick and continue to appeal for a free kick as the play goes on. That is a shove. That is a shove. And he's offside. Well, I tell you what, the flag is up. That is as bad a shove as you will see. Two hands out in the back. Mate, that's a free kick in AFL, Kel.
Not even the two hands on the back, but it's two hands extended. It's not even elbows locked in, Sean. It's proper extended hands. How he didn't get away with it? He's got to be lucky there that it's offside.
Oh, he is, I think, breathing a sigh of relief that flag's gone up, because that is about as silly a shove inside your own penalty area as you'll see. Oh, calamitous.
I want to know what goes through a player's mind at that particular moment at that time, at this time of the day, at this part of the country, at this localised entirely in your box, that you decide to do a two-handed shove.
Well, the sun beaming down. Maybe he got confused that the referee's not blinded by the sun looking that way. It's only in the other penalty area you can get away with that sort of thing. Down here at the campus, lovely turn around the corner from Nickel. He'll get on his bike and look to get it back from Higgins. Doesn't come back though, and that ball through for Dom Fay was just over hit, and I think the Perth striker was slightly offside anyway. So, yet to have a real shot in anger on goal, but a lively start.
Yeah, absolutely lively start. There was a decent play there by ECU where Cassidy's won the ball. They've made a couple 1-2 plays.
Santich nipping in there, getting it down for Domfay to strike off the outside of the left-hand goalpost. Michael Domfay, did it take a deflection? That is the signal from Julian Serra, the referee. Oh, inches away from the opening goal. Sorry to cut you off, Kel. Wow. Christian Santich getting in there, making the interception. And Michael Domfay just showing you don't need to give him too much time or space for him to fashion some sort of chance. What a player he is when he's on song. He'll be in the penalty area looking to get on the end of this now. Likewise, Radinovic and Siller at the back post. Tough one for Perkins to handle there, and he did well enough.
Sean, that chance just earlier there, that was great play in terms of setting a trap there for the ECU midfield, because as soon as he got the ball in the midfield, it was three players who all just creeped up and pressed and made that chance to make a difficult play. The fact that he made a tackle and Domfay swiveled, touched, hit that first time, that's the difference there. That's what wins you leagues. A player who's that confident, shooting from 25 yards out on the swivel, It's unbelievable play.
Oh, that's why it's big money for players that can put the ball in the net at any level of football. Cassidy will marshal this one out. So he leaves it there for Nelson Deshungo to come and get a moment in the shade at the campus. The one little triangle of shade we've got here. Nice little 1-2 there, but just napping on the ball there was the Joondalup man. It comes back out for McDonald to have a strike. That one was blocked. Calvin Whitney on it now. Back to McDonald. Looks to clip it into the box, headed away. Whitney's going to press Nicol, but he gets a nice quick ball away to Higgins. Back to Nicol. Good use of the body there from the gold medalist, and he's fouled. And that relieves the pressure, and that's experience, that's quality, and that's what that man brings to your side. Just relieves the pressure. Silla, again, this time it's Alex Silla playing the role of disruptor, winning the ball back. Gorman's going to clip it. Oh, just tantalisingly out of the reach of Michael Domfey. Joondalup in the end recover. Cassidy, we mentioned he loves a long diagonal. Here's a fizzer into the feet of Riley Woodcock, who couldn't control it, and Perth take over again. They've just started to push this arm wrestle back into the other half of the field, the league leaders. That ball down the line, blocked by Riley Woodcock. The Joondalup winger, Chunga will take the throw for Hodgson. What a player he's been over the last couple of years, Kel. Danny Hodgson is 30 goals in his last 33 games now for the Jacks. Those are some numbers.
We always think of him as a goal scorer and as a poacher, which again, the two things that he absolutely is. But what's overlooked is his hold-up play. Like we saw it just then. He is a small person in terms of his diminutive frame, but the fact that he keeps the ball well, he gets his body in play, and he allows the team to move up 20 yards is absolutely underrated. And we need to appreciate that more from him because it's superb play.
Well, to go through what he went through as a footballer, Kel, between the ages of 19 and 22, he had 2 big knee injuries, spent a lot of time out, barely played any football. To come back and play at the level that he's playing at now, here he is on the ball again, and just looking to flick that one around Lockie Bird. Not quite able to do it, but yeah, for him to be now playing at the level he is at, albeit in Perth, it's just an absolute testament to him and to be the goal scorer that he's been, and everywhere he goes he wins titles. He won one at Joondalup. Before that, I think it was Kingsway. He went there and won the league, and comes to Joondalup and wins the league. And we were talking about players that can put the ball in the back of the net. There's no better example of that in Australian football than Danny Hodgson. As again, Joondalup make a mistake and Santich looks to capitalise, scuffs his shot.
It's been really sloppy there in the midfield there. There's been quite a few times where Santich and McDonald have just won that ball and been a little bit easier to make that counter-attack. And it happens when they're not playing that ball forward to Nicol or to Hodgson earlier. They're there for a reason. They're there for being able to play that pass, to take the touch and give you a bit of a breather. So they might have to be a little bit more composed on the ball, Joondalup, taking that touch and trying to play forward. Because the midfield, they're getting the better of them on the counter-attack there, Sean.
Well, it's almost like the Bermuda Triangle for ECU at the top of their defensive penalty area. They just seem to get lost. Almost every time they try to come out, they turn it over, and Santich whips that one in on the top of Johnny Perkins' head. He does really well there, the Irishman, to get a good punch on that, and Joondalup can look to counter. Daryl Nicol has absolutely no support, so he says, I'm going to get on my bike and I'm going to go myself. Unfortunately for the hosts, he's tracked down by Alex Silla, and the last touch comes off the Jacks number 9, and Perth will take the throw in. Whitney. You love the first touch there from Whitney in the control, but again, the work rate there from Danny Hodgson coming back and crashing it into the Perth midfielder. And out for a Jacks throw. Higgins comes short. His touch wasn't where he wanted it, but they'll come away with it. Just about, but Santich nips in again for Gorman. Gorman will look back to Santich. Chance for Christian Santich to get a shot off on his right foot. He can't quite cut back. Stays on his feet just, and he's asking for a handball. You're not going to get that one, Christian. There's bodies flying in. Did not look intentional for me. As Higgins finds it out for Woodcock. Back to Higgins. We'll look to turn. Loves an expansive pass in midfield. Andy Higgins, huge part of that that title-winning side. What a touch that was in midfield. A little back heel, that ball over the top. I didn't quite catch the player there. With that touch, a big mistake there from Johnny Perkins. That Michael Domfay in, I think he wasn't expecting it. It was a little too generous and didn't quite know what to do. It spent it before he had it, and Joondalup take over. But that little backheel flick there, I think that might have been Riley Woodcock getting across there, Kel. That was something.
Oh, that was a delicious backflip, and it was all backheel, and it was also just made more delicious by McDonald there, who's just done a quick roulette around his marker.
Here's Silla looking to get a ball in. Clips that one high, tough one for Perkins, but, well, he's not looking into the sun like us, and probably not as tough as it looked. And there's Joondalup looking to get away on the far side, surrounded by a couple. In for Hodgson. Turning on the ball there, bringing it out to Chongo, whose first touch bobbles on him a little bit. Plenty of time to recover. Pass down the line is blocked. Perth just keeping a very compact, disciplined shape. Looking to pounce on that ball. We've seen those ones on the edge of the area. That seems to be what they're focused on. But a chance at the back for Nickel. An important toe in there from Bojan Radinovic. And that could have almost gone anywhere. He did really well, the Perth captain, to get that one over the crossbar.
It looked like he lost the ball there in the flight of the... Sorry. Looks like he lost the flight of the ball with the sun there. And he's done really well to recover. Could Nickel have taken it first time, though, Sean?
Well, I'll say yes, Kel. It's a lot easier to do that up here than it is down there, and I think we'll have to defer to Daryl Nickel with all things scoring goals, Kel. I don't think either of us have scored as many goals in the backyard as that man has on the pitch in competitive fixtures. So,
well, I think that shows you how difficult this league is, because you've got this goal scorer like Daryl Nickel, who naturally just scores goals. But you can see how even though he had that half a second to probably shoot, he delayed a little bit, and that was more than enough time for Radinovic to actually get that touch through. It could have gone anywhere, but he did really well to make sure it went over for a corner as well, especially making up for his own error.
Yeah, he definitely turned, and it's one of those players that if he makes a mistake, he certainly doesn't want it to result in a goal. So, always keen to work. So like you make a mistake and then you go at 150% to make up for it. Cassidy takes it at the back, looks for one of those long diagonals. In the end, curls it out. Beautiful play there, Shane Cassidy's. A good passer of the ball. Not so there, Nelson Deshongo, but pinching it off of Santich was Hodgson. Nickel's going to make a nuisance of himself for Bird. Bird's clearance down the line, picked off by Woodcock. Woodcock a chance to get one into the box. He looks to pass it to the run of Hodgson, but it's cut out. And Perth, while looking to clear, clip it out to halfway and out for a Joondalup throw. Declan Hughes leaves it for Strongo. Now Hughes picks it up. Strides forward. Comes off Santich and out for an ECU throw. Cassidy turns back there, out for Palmateer. Hughes strides through midfield untouched. Stepping out there to make the challenge for Perth was Gordon. Curled in, Hodgson at the back post, gets a head down. Higgins fires it, takes a deflection, comes off a body, again shouts for handball, and again, not in my opinion. Dom Fate takes the touchdown from Gorman. Dom Fate wide on his left foot, can't get a shot off from there. Tries to get a cross in and completely gets that one wrong. I tell you what, Kel, I'm going to go down to you for an around the ground score, because I've just seen something that I can barely believe in the first half. Tell me what's going on down at, where is it? Is it at Joondalup?
It's at Joondalup. We're 28 minutes in at Joondalup, and it's 3-0 to Bayswater. Bayswater shut off the blocks, and they scored 3 goals in the first 10 minutes. You can tell right now that they're playing for someone who's no longer here, and good on them. That's an unreal result. Also, just in, goal to Armidale. It's Armidale 1, Florida Athena 0.
Well, we talk about the wheels falling off. They seem to continue to be falling off at Athena, but I don't think Joondalup had any wheels on the car at the start of the season, Kel. They have been... I won't use too strong a language, Kel, but they have been a huge disappointment to their coaching staff and fans. Trevor Morgan leaving this week, and Yeah, they are not putting in a season to remember, and 3-0 down in the opening 10 minutes to Bayswater.
That new manager bounce at Bayswater kind of proven a little bit difficult, but also in the relegation zone, it's going to be hard right now for Rockingham. They're down to 10 men and they're down 1-0 as well.
Wow, well, you thought that perhaps Joondalup would be drawn into that relegation battle. It now maybe looks like Rockingham, although, to be fair, they were, I think, level on points at the start of the day with Balcatta. So either way, it was going to be one of the two sides were going to drop points, which is crazy that we're talking about Joondalup looking for Rockingham and Balcatta to drop points so they don't go down. But unbelievable there. Wow, 3-0 Bayswater. Well, 0-3 it is, rather, for the purists, as Christian Sanjic here back to the action at the campus. Sanjic looks inside and finds his midfielder in McDonald. Out to Gorman on the far side. He's going to look back, post for Dom Fay. He was making a good run. The cross just didn't quite find him. And it's 4. It is 4. Bayswater 4, Joondalup 0. Inside half an hour. Well, if we get anywhere near the amount of action that's going on down there, they're hogging it all, Cal. All the goals are down at Joondalup and none of them are for Joondalup. I'm sure we'll get one here soon, although, as we mentioned, this Perth defence is the best in the league. Joondalup's is not far behind. They have the 3rd best. They are tied with Floreat. They've conceded just 22 on the season so far. So perhaps not a surprise that we're seeing a cagey one here with the two of the top 3 defences in the league and the 6th and 7th best attacking teams for ECU and Perth respectively. Despite all the attacking talent they've got on, they are now up against, as we mentioned, a couple of the best defences. Makes it just that little bit harder. Flicked on there. Nickel has it taken off his toes by Bird. Shongo looks to fizz one in. He's missed a couple of passes early on. Not quite looking to his usual form. Silla clips that one down the line to absolutely no one. Palmatier will recover. Palmatier for Tommy Hoff. Plays a nice little 1-2 and a good little cushion on the back pass there from Tommy. Yeah, looks down the line over the head of Woodcock. Picked off by Silla. Turning on it is McDonald. And he'll go back to his centre half, who may look to find Dom Fay long. Just over his head. Fielded by Perkins, who rolls it out quickly. Hughes turns inside for Hoff. Hoff turns it over again there in that same position. Joondalup are struggling for Christian Santich, and Whitney just not quite on the same page as his teammate there.
You got to feel for Whitney there because he's not been getting on the ball, despite the fact that Perth have been winning the ball quite a few times in higher positions and places. He is a baller, an absolute footballer who can create stuff, and if they are going to score goals, like you said, they're only going to get him on the ball.
Darryl Nickel does beautifully there to turn that one around the corner. It's a foot race between Woodcock and McDonald, but the flag is up and that will end that foot race in the favour of Perth. A couple of Joondalup players insistent that the flag should have stayed down. Chief among them, Declan Hughes, but the flag was up and Perth will carry on attacking down the left with Jaden Gorman. Good tackle and the ball comes off the Perth youngster, or at least Joondalup took it quickly and would like to pretend it did. It didn't wait for the referee's signal and it'll be a Perth throw inside the Joondalup half. Still 0-0 at the campus. As we mentioned, all the goals being stolen by Bayswater down at Joondalup. Still 4-0 there. And that other big result that you were saying there, Armidale leading Floreat. Sorrento also have the lead against the Glory. In the only other game we've had goals. Just a feast of tantalising fixtures in the NPL this week. Almost everything means something. As Coburn and Inglewood pushing for an unlikely top 4 berth is probably the least interesting of them all, as Darryl Nickel looks to cushion that one with the outside of the right foot. But yeah, Floreat going down to Armidale. Tough environment. They're a goal behind. That one's got to be interesting. Bayswater, Joondalup. the big spenders of Yor versus the current team big spenders that look like they might be going down if they can't turn things around. That bottom two battle with Rockingham and Balcatta looks tantalising. Sorrento and Perth Glory, they're two informed teams in the competition. And then, of course, this, the pinnacle, the cream of the crop, the top of the lot, Kel, is the league leaders versus last year's champions as Gorman looks to get out there against Cassidy. That is sensational work from young Jaden Gorman to muscle off the experienced Shane Cassidy, but in the end, Joondalup come away with it. And the feeder Nickel loves a little flick around the corner, just draping over his opponent, and there's Woodcock. And coming away here, a Perth still looks to get on the charge. He's going to make a nuisance of himself here for Tshongo, and Tshongo does really well, just gets the body in the way, sees that one over the line. And Perkins will take, look at this press from Perth inside the Joondalup penalty area, but that allows the quick counter there from Hughes, and Nickel, I think he wanted to get that one in the air and over the top for Hodgson. In the end, he didn't quite get it right. Good little, I thought it was a 1-2 intended initially. It comes for Domfay. Out for just Gorman in the box, actually. It's the one white shirt. If they can get the ball into him as Whitney strides forward, crosses blocked. Perth corner.
They need to get Whitney on the ball. You can see the damage and the danger that he provides there. Not only a player who's comfortable receiving it with 2 or 3 people around him, but also comfortable to try something new and try something different. And it's that creativity that kind of sets Perth apart between the Santiches and between the Whitneys. It's something that you can do there. And if you've got Domfay at the top of the box trying to get on that creativity, it's always dangerous.
That ball into the box, also dangerous. It pops up. Silla just looks to nudge his opponent under. Hodgson scrambling across to pick it up at left back, and he's got Greenfields ahead of him. Danger for McDonald if he lets him get past. He does well to just show him inside. Here's Higgins. Higgins out for Woodcock. They had a lot of space on that far side. Looking back in for Hodgson. He can't quite get a touch on that, and Perth take over. Here's Gorman out on the near side now. He's getting all over this front three, Jaden Gorman. McDonald can't quite get it back to him, and I think a handball called there by Julian Serra. Joondalup get us restarted quickly. Higgins back for Hoff. Hoff in for Woodcock. Woodcock clips into the path to Tshongo. Oh, lovely idea that was from Riley Woodcock. He saw a little run and a pass there that no one else did. And the Perth defence were in position. Cleared by Bird. Domfay won't get there ahead of Higgins, who almost gave it to him on a plate. And Hoff back for Perkins.
We don't get to see that often, the old underlapping run from a fullback who comes inside. And it was great play there. Tshongo's, he's starting to get back into this game, especially in the last couple of minutes where he's defended really well, marshalled his man, but he's also pushing up the field. And if he pushes up the field, he gives him a chance.
Super defending there. Stepping forward, Bojan Radinovic leaves it for Whitney, and that is a good ball to the back post for Gorman. Looks to come inside and find one, a goal, and find the back of the net for Perth. They extend their lead at the top. And the Azuri can almost reach out and touch it. What a goal that is.
Sean, we've just finished praising Tshongo for being up there, but he just wasn't back there. And you could see that Cal Whitney had acres of space. He's lofted that ball in there, but the composure from Gorman to take a touch, to cut inside and to whip that, no catch-up, just sauce straight into the top corner. What a finish.
Well, they might have been hogging all the goals down there at Joondalup, Kel, but I'm not sure if they were able to show us a better one than that. That is absolute class. That is top drawer. I said I wanted to see the young man today, and mate, that's worth the price of admission. I don't know what you're doing sitting at home watching this on your TV or on your YouTube. Get down here to the campus and look at this man live in action. What a goal. What a goal. And that is the opener today. ECU 0, Perth 1. Oh, just special.
You can't give that goal enough credit because you'd think about that, right? A player's brought that in, and you're just thinking, just get it on target, curl it a little bit. But to put that power, that accuracy into it.
This time he rolls it for Santich. Santich takes a touch. I just thought he might be involved in something special there, Kel. That's why I jumped all over you. And now this is really the challenge here for ECU. They have struggled big time after those first 7 games. 6 wins and a loss. It looked like the champions were going back to back, and then in the last 10, the only sides they've beaten, Keller, Rockingham once and Balcatta twice, as that one goes dangerously close to the top right corner, direct from the corner from Santich. Had Perkins scrambling. He breathes a sigh of relief now, and in that last 10, Kel, 3 wins, like I said, 1 against Rockingham, 2 at Balcatta, 1 draw and 6 losses. Almost a complete reverse of their opening season form. And Perth are furious here. They are pressing like a team possessed, led by that man, Christian Santich. He's everywhere in midfield, and it's just white shirts everywhere, finally. ECU find a release valve. It's going to be interesting to see if Perth can keep up this intensity. I very much doubt you can play football like this for 90 minutes, but they'll possibly be looking to get that goal or 2, have a bit of a buffer so they can sit back in the second half. But the way they're playing at the moment, it's incessant stuff. Lovely ball there from Shongo in for Nickel. Inventive with the right toe.
He's gone for the little cheeky dink there, Sean. But to dink it over a player into a man running on. Inventive play. And again, you can see the bravery that ECU have, where they've played that ball. That entire play started from their 6-yard box, with players playing literally across their box, doing everything my 13-year-old coach told me not to do.
Yeah, football's changed, mate. You're an old man now, Kel. Just like me, we used to get told, do not pass it across your box. And now I tell you what, if you're a centre-half and you don't pass it across your box, you're not getting a game in the first team. As Parmatia, right on cue, plays that across the box for Cassidy. Higgins on the turn, dangerous when he can look up, and that's why, look at that ball there for Hodgson. He couldn't quite bring it down. The flag is up again. They're just not quite timing things right, the Jacks, in this opening half. They've had a few of those very close, and how different could it be if that offside flag didn't go up in the opening minutes? I'm sure there would have been a penalty paid. Although I think Julian Serra, the referee, on that occasion was probably very happy that the flag did go up, because you don't want to give penalties for those aerial duels as a ref. You want to let them play. Well, I've never seen a bigger push in the back in an NPL game than that one.
Two-handed, arms extended, elbows not even locked, just blatant.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he was going to point to the spot. He just wanted to see if the flag went up, as hustling back there. The Perth forward to put a bit of pressure on. Does turn over now. Gorman, nice little touch there for McDonald, who has nothing on down the line, so he turns back calmly. Finds Silla. Retreats further to Radinovic, who looks for the long die. Yeah, cut out there by the chest of Jakub Praja. Ex-Sorrento man playing it right back now for Joondalup. Lovely turn out of trouble there. Look at this man go. Greenfield's in front of him now, and he just got a bit excited there, Calvin Whitney. Would have liked him to keep his eyes down there. Christian Santich again in that Bermuda triangle I mentioned, Kel. Stepping inside, stepping outside, comes back, a fire and another goal, and it's Jaden Gorman again. Perth are all over the Jacks at the moment, Kalichi. It is ECU 0, Perth SC 2.
Sean, that energy, that high pressing from Santich. He's got blonde hair, we don't care, but he's still pressing so high and getting a touch on that ball. The fact that he's even done that little bit of a shimmy there to put off the marker, and Gorman with the finish. Sean, it's quality play, but again, one more time, Joondalup are causing themselves problems here when they can pass quicker and they can make their execution a little bit better. But what a great finish.
Well, you might not care about the blonde hair, Kel. It's still bothering me, but the Perth faithful will not be caring one bit, because he is causing all sorts of trouble for Joondalup as they try to play it out from the back. He is everywhere. So, in that 18 to 25 yards out from goal for Joondalup, it looks like that's just his job, is just wait. And you said before it was like he was setting a trap. And again, it's like he waits, he looks for that pass and he pounces. He has been absolutely on fire today, Christian Santich. But if he's been on fire, well, what's Jaden Gorman? What a great goal, and another composed finish there, just fizzing it past Perkins as Hodgson looks to get his side, and perhaps Joondalup getting a bit desperate. There you're firing shots on the turn from 25, 30 yards. Probably not your route back into this one.
Off air, we talked about the fact that Gorman was getting that start. We've mentioned the fact that he was a stalwart a couple seasons ago, winning the cup there for the under-21s. Like, what are you enjoying about just watching him play right now, Sean? Because he's playing with a lot of confidence.
I tell you, the thing that's stuck out to me in the opening half for Jaden Gorman is he's always been a threat. He's always a danger. He knows how to score goals. But his physicality, and the way we saw it a couple of times opening 15 minutes, big bodies up against him. Shane Cassidy up against him. He's holding him off. He's getting his body in there. Young man's been in the gym, Cal. And he is just working and working. His work rate, you have to for Perth. And another turnover, that same area. Domfay wants to fire. He holds up for Whitney, and Whitney scuffs it. Well, you think Domfay would love to have that one back and perhaps fire one on goal, but it's that same area, Kel. You draw that triangle from the top of the 18-yard box out, and that is where Joondalup are just turning it over time and time again. Now Hoff can run. He's found a pocket of space. He's got Shongo to the left of him. Shongo comes in for Hodgson. And this Perth defence just looking tight, looking like it's very hard to pick holes in. It's no wonder they're the best defensive side in the league on today's evidence. ECU have barely had a shot in anger. Palmetier fires that one across for Cassidy and gets it back. And Domfay hustling to get across now as well, just pressing from the front. Hodgson just had a fistful of Lockie Bird's shirt there. He got away with it. And now Hodgson get on the turn. Santich approaches him, closes him down, goes out wide. He'll look to get it back. Instead it comes further back instead for Hughes. Hughes for Cassidy. Cassidy drops the shoulder delightfully. Love that, Shane. He finds Tommy Hoff. Hoff fizzes it in there. Higgins, Woodcock, flag is up again.
Sean, you've mentioned that Bermuda Triangle that they've got there, and it's a triangle of McDonald, of Santich, and of Whitney, and they are not letting them play through the middle. The fact that Joondalup also have two strikers up front means that they need to get that ball up quicker. They need to get that ball up quicker, do the quick 1-2s. They've got plenty of space out wide. And to be fair, Perth are absolutely happy for them to have it out wide to swing crosses in. So that ball's got to move forward, and it's got to move forward quicker. And then you can have midfield runners coming in, because once you're trying to play through that midfield right now, they're being murdered right now, Sean.
Silla toes it on for Whitney, who toes it on for Santich. Santich is going to fire. A couple of those shots now from both sides, just perhaps running out of ideas, perhaps just tired legs there at the end of this first half. Shongo picks it up at left back for Joondalup. Down the line for Woodcock. Drops the shoulder on McDonald and plays it into the path of Nickel, but tracking back there. Lachlan Bird, little back heel flick. Looked to get it into Daryl Nickel. The Jacks number 9 did not get a touch, and he will now take this corner. Still 4-0 in stoppage time down at Joondalup. 1-0 Balcatta, 1-0 Sorrento over Glory as the ball comes into the box. It will be another corner, much to the chagrin of the Perth defence. And of course the other goal, 1-0 Armidale leading Floriat, still scoreless at Inglewood Coburn. And it still says it's scoreless here at Joondalup Perth. I can guarantee you that is not the case. Perth are leading by 2-0. Great half by the league leaders, as Nickel looks to kill that one in, and Ryan Montgomery claims that one, falls to the floor. Now 2-0 in both of those other games. Balcatta leading by 2-0 against the 10 men of Rockingham. Armidale leading Floriat. Athena by 2-0. As well, we already said the wheels have fallen off. I would say the car is completely falling apart down there now. As Perth look to make this 3, they stride forward through Silla. A lot of space. Here's Gorman, confidence to take that touch, and I tell you what, it almost came back to him, but he didn't know where it was. Hughes comes away to Higgins. Higgins has got a bit of space ahead of him. He puts it into that space and lets Hodgson run. Hodgson just beats Radinovic for body work and tries to pull it back across the box to a lurking Daryl Nickel, but it's cleared. Joondalup pick it up in midfield. Good ball there for Woodcock. He's got Shongo behind him. Shongo now making that overlapping run. Just allows Woodcock to go inside his box, or his cross is blocked rather. And Shongo will look to get in there first again, and he does, and wins his side a free kick. And I understand the complaints from the Perth player there, because he didn't know that Shongo was coming at a rate of knots, but you still fouled him, Alex.
No, it was absolutely a foul. You can't say, ref, I didn't know he was going to be there, so I clattered him instead. Please don't give me a free kick. But I was going to say, think about this, Sean. On the left and on the right for Perth, they've got Gorman and Morgan, both players who were playing striker for that team who won the cup a couple years ago for the under-21s.
Amazing, isn't it, as Higgins gets the ball in. A real mess at the back. The Perth defence at 6s and 7s. Comes back out for a chance to strike on goal. Comes across the box and eventually carried away by Perth. It was not pretty, but they eventually got it done. Higgins, oh, lovely touch there from Higgins, bringing it down. Comes back in. A little left foot ball there for Hoff. Shongo on the charge outside him. Comes back for Higgins. Just so good with his feet, the big Joondalup number 10. Hodgson couldn't quite bring that one under, so he toes it out for Hughes. Hughes has got a runner outside him. Just thundering in there was Kieran Colwell, I think it was, making the tackle. Oh, he might be further back. In fact, it wasn't Colwell, was it Morgan? Clipped down the line there by Joondalup, and that's Kieran Colwell seeing the ball over for a Perth goal kick. And there is Julian Serra's whistle to bring an end to this first half. It's been the Jaden Gorman show. Perth have put pressure on from the first whistle, and constant turnovers just outside their own area for Joondalup has caused them to come unstuck. Kenny Lowe's going to come in and have a few words at the referees, and I'm not sure what he can be too angry about, Kel. It just looked like his side's been outplayed.
He's been outplayed, but they've also just been not as clinical as the opposition right now. You think about it, the shots that they have had, they haven't put away. They've knocked it over the bar, and they've been really sloppy in possession in their own half. And Perth haven't, and that's been the big difference this half, Sean.
Well, we go in at the campus with a score line that the hosts will not want to see remain the way it is. It is Joondalup 0, Perth SC 2. We'll be back with the second half. Welcome back to the campus for the second half here in this NPL WA round 19 fixture between the league leaders, the visitors Perth SC, who look to be taking a further step towards the 2021 title. They lead the hosts ECU Joondalup by a score of 0-2. Mostly due to that man who kicked us off, Jaden Gorman's stunning first goal from him. Composed second. Sliding in there is Shane Cassidy. He hasn't done much wrong, but finds himself 2-0 down. Nice little back heel there. Jakub Praja. Foul in the end of Perth. Kel, joined, of course, if you didn't catch the first half, by Kalichi Osunwa. Kel, the first half we mentioned was all about Perth's pressing. It was turnovers and goals that came from that. What do ECU have to do? Is it a case of not making mistakes, or is there something they need to do tactically, do you think, to get back into this one?
Well, the initial ideas that I had was, because Perth were playing with a 4-2-3-1, was to move that ball a little bit quicker and get to the two strikers.
Gorman clips that one in just wide of Domfay.
But just looking at it now, it looks like Perth have kind of changed and gone to a 3 at the back there, and you can have a look. So I'm not too sure what it means for them right now, but if they are playing with a 3 at the back, they're going to have a lot more time at fullback, ECU Joondalup, and they might need to get those fullback overlapping.
They've turned it over again in that same area. Michael Domfay. Sorry, Kel, you know we can't talk when Joondalup have the ball on the edge of their area, because they're likely to turn it over and give away a chance. It's been the pattern of the day. Daryl Nickel looking to get down the line. Tussling there with Kieran Colwell. And Kieran Colwell concedes a throw in. Jakub Praja to take it for Hodgson. Hodgson has it taken off him by Colwell. Cleared. Cassidy's got a bit of time, but he's got Domfay bearing down. He goes back to Perkins. So it'll be interesting to see if this press continues from Perth, or in the second half whether they'll be happy to sit a little deeper. It does look a little like at least their midfield is sitting deeper. Christian Santich sitting in the number 6 hole right now. He was doing a lot of work in that first half. Maybe it's just a chance for McDonald to do a bit more of that up and down running. It's Higgins, lovely ball there for Praja. Praja cuts inside, real chance for Joondalup. Praja squares it, and Hodgson fluffs his lines over the crossbar. Well, that could have halved the deficit, Kel.
Now it was a gilt-edged chance there, and Hodgson looks really disappointed. He's looking down at the pitch as if it bobbled just there. I don't think he anticipated the ball actually making it through to him there as well, Sean, but quality bit of play there from Praja.
Well, no one that Joondalup would have wanted to have on the end of it more than their number 17, Danny Hodgson. Perhaps it did just take a bobble in that little sand pit in front of Ryan Montgomery. Just trying to cushion that one down. There is the brace scorer of the first half, Jaden Gorman. What a story it would be if he could go on and get a hat-trick here in the second. He's looked the most likely. Just again, that first goal, if we could just go back and watch that again. I'm sure we will a few times after the final whistle here blows. And I'm sure we'll see it in the Goals of the Week on Football West Facebook page. And if you don't give that one a vote, the vote that you give better be to a really, really special goal, because that was something. Santich under that one. Praja wins. Higgins is just so crafty on the ball, Annie Higgins. We love it, and he looks to curl one with the left foot. Asks for a deflection. Referee Julian Serra says no. Thank you again for joining us on the Football West live streams on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel. I'm Sean Fry. I'll be calling all the action for you in the second half as referee Julian Serra has a word with ECU centre half Shane Cassidy. Perth, the visitors here, dressed in white. They're attacking the left of screen in this second half. ECU, the hosts, trailing by 0-2, attacking to the right of this campus turf. Well, Perth are looking more and more like the champions-elect. We had it down there on our notes sheet, Cal, with a question mark after it. Can you see anyone running them down from here?
No, they look like they're in a really good position, and it would take a lot to beat what they're currently at 7 points clear.
10 points clear of ECU, with ECU having that game in hand against Inglewood. But looking like they're going to extend their lead on Floreat to at least 4 points, I think. Floreat were trailing by 2-0 at last we saw down at Armidale. I said that's not a place that you want to go when you're feeling a bit rickety and results aren't going your way. It's proving to be the case.
Yeah, the idea of being 4 points clear with 3 games to go, that's going to take some monumental kind of collapse. But as things stand, that collapse doesn't look like it's going to be happening, Sean. I think we've got an update all the way from Armidale, Sean.
As we speak, Kel, Armidale have gone 3-0 up against Athena. I'm running out of analogies. I'm using all the wheels have fallen off, the car's falling apart. I don't know where to go from here because it's not looking like it's getting any better for Athena. It has been the second half of a season from hell after the first 12, 13 weeks where it just didn't look like they could be touched. Obviously a big injury to their skipper, Dean Evans, and a bunch of suspensions for a lot of unprofessional football. A lot of arguing with referees and things. It's picked up lots and lots of yellow cards and red cards, and it doesn't help your cause when you've lost your captain and your players carry on in the fashion that they have at times. They obviously did get their Amateur Cup win against today's hosts by 1-0. Fantastic save in that game, probably the save of the season by Jason Soldaris. And talking a lot about Floreat, I guess we should be talking about Perth, Kel.
Just want to make sure that we heard that you called it the Amateur Cup. But I appreciate that, Sean, and hopefully North Perth United, South Perth United, and the winner, Maccabi, and also the winners of Forest Field and Wembley can also one day reach the lofty heights of winning the Amateur Cup that Floreat have won. But you're right, go into it. We can talk about them, but we can also talk about this Perth team who just have kept chugging away, who've become machine-like in their pursuit. They've lost players. They've also lost injuries. Their star footballer, Big Cam Teese, one of our favourites, has got on a plane and gone to the other side of the country to play football, but they're still churning out results. They're bringing youngsters who come out and play left wing and play right wing. We've got a young man in Lachlan there playing centre half, where the team club captain is missing right now. It's a phenomenal achievement from Perth if, as it looks like, they're going to end up winning this league table, Sean.
Yeah, my apologies. Don't clip me misnaming the cup that they won. Kel, what is the cup that Floreat won?
I do believe it is the Coolridge Cup, Sean.
Obviously, on a nice sunny day like this, Kel, nothing goes down better than a nice cool glass of Coolridge. Send me that sponsorship money, please. As Higgins can't keep that one in. It'll be another Perth throw. Yeah, I'm struggling to think of a real chance that Joondalup have had in this game.
First chance. Since then, Sean. Since the first chance of the game, it has been pretty difficult. There obviously was that chance that Hodgson just had right then when it bobbled in front of him.
And Daryl Nicol is offside there. We are in perfect line with that one. Sorry, yes, I couldn't think of a chance. Obviously, aside from that chance that came to Hodgson early in this second half, that just will be generous to the young man. So it bobbled in front of him and he just mishit that one. Other than that, there's been a couple of long-range efforts, but really not much to trouble this Perth defence. They are the best in the league. They have been in position when they've needed to be. And there is that young man showing that physicality that I was raving about in the first half, Jaden Gorman. What a performance. He's been the best player on the pitch by some distance. Not far behind, though, this man. That doesn't really make sense, though. Christian Santich fires and finds the net from all of 25 yards, Kel. What about that? It's Perth 3, ECU 0.
Sean, everything about that goal is absolute quality. Gorman coming back, winning the ball, passing it off to McDonald. He lays it in left foot. Sanchez has enough time to turn, to privel, to swivel, to sprivel, to take a touch, and to drill that 25 yards. Sean, this might be the coronation, Sean.
Well, I was just saying that it didn't quite make sense that Jaden Gorman was the best player on the pitch by some stretch, and then that Christian Santich wasn't far behind him. But certainly now Christian Santich challenging for that best player on the ground. He nipped in and made all those interceptions in the first half, put it on a plate for a few teammates, and now he's gone and done it himself. As it looks like we've got something on the side. Jaden Gorman's over on the sideline. I thought we had a substitute, but it looks like he's just taken a knock perhaps and just getting him sorted before he can come back on. So Perth down to 10 as things stand, but I don't think it matters the way they're playing. It looks like they're playing with 15. Santich, again, it's like they want to pass it to him. Gets his feet in a bit of a tangle and still doesn't lose the ball. He can do nothing wrong at the moment, the young man, although, well, I was going to say he turned it over. Of course he didn't. Look at the young man go. Christian Santich striding away from a couple. Oh, and there we go. There's the mistake. Thank you, Christian. Had to be coming. He throws himself in and wins possession back for Perth. Well, there you go. And a yellow card there for Declan Hughes, I think it was. Kel, you're just laughing there, saying he is a joy to watch. I'm almost lost for words with the way these boys are playing in midfield, particularly Santich and up front Gorman.
I don't think, truly speaking, I don't think we appreciate how amazing this league in the NPL is. We play Sunday amateurs, we play in the top level, we've played against the Armidale players, but you look at the way that Santich moves with the ball. Like, these guys aren't moving in slow-mo, Sean. His feet are just that quick, and just to be that diminutive, he's misplaced the pass, he's come back and won it. He really is worth the price of admission. He is a joy to watch, and we should really enjoy these players being back here, because it wasn't too long ago that he was playing over East. Of course, it's not just skill and talent that has got Perth to where they are. We were talking to a few Perth old stagers, guys that have been around from the 60s and 70s and know the club inside and out, and they said one of the big reasons for their surge up the table as that ball whipped in and couldn't quite find Darryl Nichol. One of the big reasons they were saying that Perth are where they are is their number 6, McDonald, who the least flary of the three, certainly between Whitney and Santich, but they said when he came in to replace Harley Orr, he just slotted into that number 6 position and has barely put a foot wrong. What have been your thoughts on him today? It's been really good watching him, Sean, because he does the dirty work. An old coach of mine, Frosty, who's just become a grandpa, good on you, Frosty, he always used to say, look, there are some players whose job it is to pass, to win the ball and pass to the good players. And that's damning him with faint praise because he is a phenomenal footballer, but the way he reads the play, the way he sets a platform for your Cal Whitneys and for your Santages to play, it's something that this team can't do without. And you watch, if he is not playing, it's a different shape, it's a different formation, it's a different way of playing for them as well. That ball comes all the way across the Perth area, out for Will Gordon. He fizzes it into the path of his fellow long-haired youngster in Gorman. Back out for Gordon. It's an absolute nightmare trying to commentate on these two, Kel, because of course we had Morgan for Perth in the youngsters as well, and now we've got Gorman and Gordon. And they've all got the same haircut. Shungo. Just looking in there and finding Woodcock. He found himself under a bit of pressure. So often these Joondalup players look like they have a bit of time on the ball and then they're pounced on by a white shirt. And again, turnover high up the pitch. Shungo battling. And battling well, really well done, Nelson Shungo, to come away with the ball there. Nichol wants it in the middle. He'll find a bit of space. It's a good ball to him. Hodgson is onside, but the pass is overhit. No, and the questions are raised, but Lachlan Bird was napping a little there at right centre half. He was about 5 yards behind Bojan Radinovic, who now turns to his young compatriot and says, step up a little. You're right, it does look like, we mentioned at the end of the first half, Kel, that perhaps that high press, that incessant intensity was something that you couldn't sustain for a full 90 minutes. So the shape may be because of that, but Joondalup looking to go forward here and give themselves some hope. Darryl Nichol files a tough one there in front of Ryan Montgomery, cushions it well, gets behind it, but perhaps this change in shape, by the looks of things for Perth, is with that in mind, that they can't keep going the way they were going. They've got their lead. And now that it's just a case of holding what they have. Well, certainly at 3-0 now as Higgins looks to go past. Higgins fires off the face of the defender. Deflects back there, I think off Gordon, and out for an ECU corner. They've got a player down. It may have been from that fizzing strike. That's terrific work from Higgins to just keep determined to win that ball back and then actually take a touch go past his player and then have that shot as well. But great defending there from Perth to, again, get a body in front of it from, I think that's Radinovic there as well, Sean. The game, to be fair, is far from over here. If we get one goal, it might be squeaky bum time as well.
Well, as we look around the grounds, it's looking more and more like an Armidale win as we tick on to half an hour to go. They lead Floreat Athena by 3-0. Bayswater Joondalup, we believe, is still 4-0. That one flicked on at the front post again. ECU, they've probably spent more time screaming for a penalty than they actually have in the penalty area in this game. Gorman looks to make a nuisance of himself. Higgins picks it up. Hoff for Tshongo. And all the way out to left back, Nichols made a run down the line. He's got a bit of space ahead of the defender, who is Silla. Alex Silla gets a toe in. ECU corner, things just starting to tilt towards the right of screen now. Kel, ECU getting a bit more time in their attacking third. We thought that the intensity Perth showed that this would start to happen. It tends to in football as well. When you have a 2 or 3 goal lead, you'll sit deeper and deeper and try and pick teams off on the counter attack. Be interesting to note there is Gordon for Perth getting very deep to help with the defending on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, pretty confident now saying that it is a back three for them. We've got another unlucky tackle. Unlucky tackle.
What was unlucky about that one, Kel?
Just looked very cumbersome, Sean. Just really looked cumbersome. And to be fair, if you want to tackle someone, you'd smash them in that situation. You wouldn't just leave a leg and get walked over. But yeah, we can tell now that I can confirm that Perth do have that back three, and you can see that they are sitting a little bit deeper and making it a bit more difficult for ECU to push forward. But they still have that shape. They still have that triangle there in that midfield to make sure that they do have Whitney, they do have Santich, and they do have McDonald just kind of stopping play.
Higgins whips that one in. Comes to the back post, so Woodcock to fire. Blocked by Bird. Comes out for Hoff, and his first time pass is astray. Perth will take over. We do have a glimmer of hope for Rockingham down in Rockingham. Not a goal, but a player sent off for Balcatta. So we are down to 10 versus 10 in that one. As we said, Armidale, Floreat 3-0. Joondalup still trailing Bayswater by 4. 4-0 there. Inglewood Coburn still tied at 0. Sorrento still leading by that solitary goal against the Glory under-21s. But here, all the goals have been for the top of the table. Perth SC, and just getting a toe in there again is Whitney, that midfield. Just asserting its dominance. Santich sweeping it out for his number 13, who plays a peach of a ball for Domfay. Chests it down, fires and fires wide. A touch from the defender, just enough, but how quickly they can turn defence into attack.
He's done so well there to check off his man, take the touch and bring it down. And to be fair to Cassidy, he's recovered superbly well as well to get a touch on that. It looked for all money that was going to be 4-0, Sean.
Yeah, got to give credit where credit's due to the ECU centre-half. It was not an easy position. Domfay did so well, and you thought once he'd taken that touch, it was a matter of time before the net bulged, but stuck to his task manfully there, Shane Cassidy, and just did enough to get that one out and away. Perth corner. Looks like there's a little bit of action down there on one of the benches, but no substitutions just yet. Perth looking to extend their lead to 4. It's over the keeper, back post, headed away. Perth will try again from the other side. So Gorman, Santich, the scorers. Jaden Gorman with a brace in the first half. Christian Santich wasn't happy that Jaden might have taken Perth's Goal of the Season award and fired in a contender of his own. Stunning strike from the young man from all of 25 plus yards. Here he is over this corner, clips that one up to the back post, unable to head that one Back down there was Whitney. McDonald forces it back into the area, and turning and striking there was Gordon wide of the goal. Perkins takes it quickly. If it's over the head, Nichols a chance. Getting across there is Colwell. Just getting a body in. Forcing it out for a Joondalup throw. As the sun comes down here over ECU Football Stadium, the campus as it is fondly known. And the big man on campus today, Kel, has been the young man, Jaden Gorman. Hunting for a hat-trick now, but interesting that front three here for Perth. It looks like Domfay obviously tends to play central, but he spent a lot of time drifting out wide, and Gorman has been operating a little more down the middle as ECU look to attack here, and chance to get a ball in the box, sliding in there with studs up, wins the ball, but wins it in a fashion that Julian Serra is not happy with, and that'll be a yellow card. Thoughts on that one, Kel, as a terrible tackling fullback?
Can I say on a Sunday that's a perfectly fine tackle? Absolutely perfectly fine tackle on a Sunday. He's got a lot of the ball and a half. But you are right, Sean. He did have the stud showing. I didn't think it was going to be... I think it's worth a talking to. I'm not sure if it's worth a yellow card and a stretcher, to be fair, though, Sean.
Yeah, you would say that, Kel. It's Jakub Praja, I believe, that is down. Obviously, these days, Kel, I think you say on a Sundays that's a fine tackle. I think in the 60s and 70s that was a fine tackle, but it certainly went thundering in. There is a way that you can win the ball there without showing your studs. I think that's what the referee will be saying. I don't think there's any argument that the defender got the ball there and got a huge chunk of the ball before he took Jakub Praja's shin. But he's certainly looking a little worse for wear. And the substitution signal has been made, so he really looks like he can't continue. Or perhaps he just wants to get away from a game that's 3-0 as Higgins looks to go direct and directly into the cage at the back of the campus and over the crossbar. It was a dangerous position for that free kick. You're intimating to me, Kel, that you think you're trying to be a little bit of a hero there going for goal, and perhaps smashing one across the 6-yard box would be your preferred choice?
Smash it low across the 6-yard box. We've got no idea what might happen. It might get a touch off a defender, might get a touch off a midfielder, but going up and high, he probably didn't mean to go that high, though, to be fair to him, Sean. I don't think he intentionally kicked the ball out for a goal kick.
No, Kel, I think he was intending to put it into the Perth goal. Obviously not the result. Well, goals are flying in. Floreat back to 3-2, would you believe? And a man down. Dennis Gallen's off, but they've scored 2 in 3 minutes to get it back to 3-2. All happening down there. And Armidale. Never a dull moment down in Armidale, is there, Kel? It's Perth come forward here through Colwell. He's got Gordon, who turns it down the line there, looking for the runner, Domfay. Strong for him, and Perkins clears down the line. Colwell heads. Santich dancing. Gordon, Christian Santich again. He's got 2 against him. He just strolls away from them, back for Colwell, and he just says, have it straight back, Christian. You mentioned there's players that just want to give it to the best players on the park. You can't really go wrong with playing a pass to Christian Santich, who's just slotting in there at left centre half for a second. There's Calvin Whitney, another you can't really go wrong by finding his feet. And that one skims through. A mistake there, I think, by substitute. It looks like, is that Sammy Riak that's come on, Kel?
It is, Sean. It's Sammy Riak.
Must be on for the injured Jakub Praja. Injured in that challenge just moments ago. And here is Sammy Riak just finding the feet there. And again, Christian Santich, you don't want to play it too close to him because he'll nip it back off you. He's already fired one in from about that sort of range. He finds Whitney. Geez, they just love working off each other, don't they? Whitney and Santich. I remember early in the season when they played, and I'll get back to that thought in a second, is a chance for the other long-haired youngster in Gordon. Just couldn't quite get that one on target. But I remember watching that pre-season cup between Inglewood and Perth, and Inglewood went home with the trophy that night series final, and things weren't quite clicking yet for Perth. And I remember thinking that, geez, with Whitney and Santich, and now McDonald doing the job he's doing in midfield, it's really a matter of time. They just got to work each other out. Once again, you can almost just put it on loop. Can we get the producers to just say Christian Santich nips in and turns it over? Because he's done it again. He rolls it out, looked to get it back, but Sammy Riak in the way, the substitute, getting his long legs in between passer and passee. He gets it out just momentarily, and Perth get back on the ball.
We joke about it when we play FIFA, Sean, but it feels like they're pushing the want it more button right now, the Perth players. Where is that want it more button right now for ECU Joondalup?
Well, perhaps it's here as that stride forward, but stepping forward is Bojan Radinovic to get in the way and just thundering in there and just taking the opportunity, it looked like, to kick his opponent. It was the ECU man, Declan Hughes. I think the ball was there to be won, so he thought, well, if I can kick this and then accidentally kick my opponent as well, I'll take my frustrations out that way. Got away with it, not even a talking to from Julian Serra, but a petulant kick out is something I know very well, Kel, from my days. It was about all I was good at, so I can spot it in a footballer when it happens. So I've had another substitute. I'm struggling here to pick out the substitutes, Kel, into the glare of this Joondalup sun. This one, I believe, you can tell by his frame, is Yaqub Mustafa, and hopefully if he finds the back of the net, Kel, we see one of his dancing, cartwheeling backflips. Very athletic footballer, great to watch. It's going to be Gordon coming off to make way for him. Well, in fact, they're not sure. There's a big confusion on the bench. Is it Gorman? Jaden Gorman making way. Well, perhaps the Ramon Falzone on the bench was saying, you with the long hair, and Will Gordon heard it from the other side of the park, but it is Jaden Gorman. He will not have a chance to score a hat-trick today. Scored those two in the first half. Fantastic display from him. He's done his job. They now lead by 3-0 after the Christian Santich thunderbolt in this second half. And if Perth are going to find their, or rather ECU are going to find their way back into this, they're going to have to stop doing that for starters, but they're going to have to find a goal very soon. If Santich doesn't need you to pass it to him, he will take it off you. And Perth opting for a slightly more direct route. Yaqub Mustafa trying to get over there and have his first impact on this game. Wasn't able to get there, and Higgins now picks it up off Hodgson. Has the call from the run of Oscar Malfiore, the substitute for ECU. He's their number 7 out on this near side, Kel, the fullback. As we mentioned, very hard to see what's going on over on that far side with the sun glaring down. We will do our best, and that's Sammy Riak playing it, I believe, for Cassidy. Comes across now. This is Ryan Lowry for ECU, and another substitute. Hodgson makes the run, cushions it down with the left foot. Santich nips in. Santich nips in again. And tracking back there really well was Yaqub Mustafa, but just gave away a foul in the eyes of Julian Serra, and ECU will take it quickly and turn it over quickly. And that has been the story of the day. Turnovers in midfield have just killed the Jacks. And there's another one to add to the long, long list.
Absolutely killed the Jacks. But you've also got to commend the work that McDonald and Sanchez have been doing. They're 3-0 up here, Sean, and they're still snapping into tackles. They're still getting bodies in play. They're still making a nuisance of themselves. And also the fact that you can bring on Yaqub Mustafa on off the bench says a lot to the team depth that you've got right now as well.
Interesting to see where Mustafa plays here. He's obviously got the fresh legs, so he's just going to make a nuisance of himself. And again, ECU passed it straight to Santich, who makes a rare mistake. But again, Mustafa just looking like he's going to be playing in that hole, just in behind Dom Fay. Perhaps just try and say, hey, you got fresh legs, just go around and make a bit more of a nuisance of yourself. They're struggling already. just go and make it even harder for them. As McDonald there throwing his weight around on Hodgson. Continues to run here for Joondalup on the far side. If they can get it back in, Hodgson will pick it up again. Just takes a touch away from one, goes around Santich, who fouls the Joondalup forward, and it will be a free kick and a chance you would think that Joondalup are going to need to take if they want anything out of this game.
It's beautiful positioning here for a striker, for a righty or a lefty, to be fair. So let's see if they can get it on target and actually test Ryan Montgomery here, Sean.
Well, our live scores are still telling us that Armidale lead Floriat, but it is no longer by 3-0. It's by 3-2, and Kel, further fireworks in Gwelup.
Is it 5, Sean?
No, Kel, it's not 5.
Is it 6, Sean?
It's 6. Bayswater 6, Gwelup 0, would you believe? As Montgomery sprawls onto that tamely hit free kick.
Sorry.
Well, it's as big of an embarrassment as you can get, really, in the NPL. A team that people were talking about as title contenders at the start of the season with some of their signings, and now trailing the mid-table Bayswater by 6 goals. I'd love to keep talking about that, Kel, but we'd better keep our focus here. Although Balcatta are now leading Rockingham by 3-0. So that's a huge result down at the bottom there for Balcatta as Michael Domfay picks it up here for Perth, who lead the league. They lead this game here. As that ball doesn't come in yet. Looked to poke it back for Domfay, but the pass was wide of him. They turn it over. Here's a chance for Hodgson tracking back and applying the pressure. You mentioned his work rate. That's been on display all day today, but he's been running a bit of a hopeless battle up front for ECU. It's not quite getting the support that he needs, this Perth team, who it turns out will need this result because Floriat Athena have equalised. It's now 3-3 down there in Armidale. What a game that must be. Athena down to 10 men and 3-3, a huge result in terms of the top of the table. We'll have a look at the standings as things stand. Perth 3 points clear still of Floriat with a win today. It looks like it certainly will be a win today for the visitors. Sorrento still leading, and that'll keep them within 5 points of Perth if Sorrento win against the Glory. So not out of it yet. ECU will be out of it if they can't find 3 late goals here, you would think. And that ball is not going to trouble the scorers. Montgomery with the ball in his hands.
That's some performance from Floriat to come down from 3-0 down a man as well.
Perhaps we have to hold off on the wheels falling off puns, Kel. They have not totally fallen apart yet. That is, as you say, quite a performance to be a man down in a hostile environment such as Armidale. That pass is terrible. That Bermuda triangle again, Kel. Mustafa rolls it for Domfay, who side foots it in to a defender. And so easily could have been 4. It's just, again, Kel, we've said it so many times. Joondalup carry it out and they turn it over in midfield. It has just been rinse and repeat.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to assure you that in the profession you don't want to be saying the same things over and over and over again. But it's really hard not to say the same things over and over and over again.
When they keep happening, Kel.
Over and over and over again.
Santich over this one for Perth as they look to make it 4. He fizzes it in low. Really poor ball from Christian Santich. He must be a rubbish footballer, hey, Kel. As Nickel rolls it out there for the run of the substitute. Malfiore holds off a challenge. Certainly no foul there. He was the stronger man and he was in position 8. Nickel rolls it in for Higgins. Higgins fires as he slips and bounces up, and Montgomery claims.
I think that encapsulates the entire game there from ECU, where they've done good in patches. They've been decent between the boxes, so to speak, but then just decision making there kind of let them down there towards the end there. There's no need to take that shot as you're falling over on your weaker foot as well.
I take your point. In between the boxes, I assume you mean coming forward out wide. It seems to be where they've come up with most of their joy. Is if you're looking directly in between the boxes, that's where they've just constantly turned it over in their own half. Forward or centre, not so much of a problem, but they just haven't got there enough. It's McDonald trying to show he can pass the ball as well, although that one's picked off and they pass it straight to Domfay. Michael Domfay takes a touch. He's fouled, but he keeps going. Michael Domfay to make it 4. Ice cool. They are shooting themselves in the foot, and they've done it for a 4th time here. Well, I say a 4th. Perhaps the Christian Santich one wasn't a case of that, but that certainly was. They keep passing it to white shirts when they should be passing it to red shirts. Kel, perhaps it's that simple today.
It is that simple, but also just let's give Domfay some credit. He's won the ball, taken the ball, rode a tackle, kept his composure and dinked it into the top of the net. That's great play by your centre forward, especially when he's got the winger and the midfielder scoring goals. You want to contribute as a centre forward, and the fact that he's put that away is he's done his job. But at the same time, they've made it easier for him by passing him the ball and saying, hey mate, here you go, 25 yards, 1 man to beat, see if you can do it.
Well, he could do it. I did mention it. He was fouled. Certainly he kept his balance, kept his composure, stayed on his feet. It was a wonderful goal there, and in the end just lifted it with the outside of the right foot deliciously. And that is now 4, and they've done it again, Kel. There's Mustafa. React just passed it straight to him as if he were a teammate. It is almost unbelievable at this point. You're almost expecting them to pass it to a white shirt now. And there you go. They turn it over again. Just about managed to somehow scramble it back to their goalkeeper. Santich nips in, wins possession. For the 100th time today, you would think. Just about. Mustafa. Back for Silla, for Santich. Santich thought about setting his sights on goal. Rolled it through Mustafa for Whitney, and just arriving at the back post too late there was Gordon.
This should tell you exactly the quality and standard that we have here in the NPL there, Sean, because there's no way on earth that Perth are a 4-0, 4-goal better team than ECU are. But when you're giving the opposition constant chance after chance after chance and allowing them to be clinical, that's what makes a difference here.
Well, Perth, after today, will be undefeated in 9, just the 1 loss in 16 games. It'll be 6 wins from 7, and they are absolutely motoring. Eyes will be cast now down to Armidale to see what's happening against Floriat. The last we saw it was 3-3. There is firing at strike in anger there for Joondalup. And just pulling up the live scores, still 3-3 from what we can see, which would mean drop points again for Floriat. It would mean now a 3-point lead at the top for today's visitors, and a hefty goal difference boost as well. And they will now be focused on keeping that clean sheet, I would think, as Higgins looks to stain that sheet. Pass it to Hoff for Riak striding forward. Woodcock turning, tackled well. Turns it over to Mustafa, and here's Whitney. His ball down the line is blocked.
Not long left in the game, Sean. Who would you say has been your outstanding player of the match?
Well, I mean, it's now that they've substituted Jaden Gorman, you have to say it's Christian Santich. Calvin Whitney, though, has been lively. He's just been so composed and cool on the ball. Michael Domfay has done what's been asked of him, and then when he's required to nip in and finish, he's done so. So we've already talked about Nicholas McDonald and his performance. So if you want one standout, then I think it's Santich. But you could throw a blanket over a few of these Perth players now, the way they've performed from the first whistle to the last. It's just been an all-around team display.
The real telling thing about this team display is the fact that Like, we haven't had to spotlight any of the defenders. We haven't had to be like, oh, this person's having an amazing game. We haven't been like, Colwell's made some really good tackles and he's gotten in the way of the blocks. No, it's been a game that's been won in the midfield today, and they've had that clinical finishing to kind of put the icing on the cake. But this game's been won in the midfield 3. And
you say that we haven't had to say that Colwell's made a bunch of great tackles, but you do think of a few moments, Radinovic and you mentioned Colwell. When they have had to make those tackles, they have done the job. And I think that's what makes this team so good. Lockie Bird as well, is bar from one or two shaky moments, been excellent as well, the youngster. And yeah, they've just one of the marks of a great side and a great defence is you can have a game where you don't have that much pressure on you and that much to do, as Perth bundle one forward that Perkins will claim. But when you do have those moments, I'm thinking Radinovic getting a toe in on Daryl Nicol in the first half, a couple of Colwell retreats, and Silla's done the same on the other side. They've been there when they've needed to. So Santich, Whitney, et al. Can run the game, but know that there's that safety net in McDonald and in that back four behind them.
And even for Montgomery as well, he hasn't had to put up any superb saves. Everything that's kind of come to him has come to him dribbling and drabs as well.
But a couple of awkward ones bouncing in front of him.
Yeah. Nothing spectacular, and that's a side of a top tier team, especially in performances like this, where it's coming towards the back end of the season, and you can feel the finish line. You know that, listen, if we get a job done here, if we get a clean sheet here, we just need to score one. And the defense have put them in that platform where, like you said, it is just one goal a game that they are conceding. And if you've scored 3, you know there's no chance right now based on what we've been doing so far. So I think that platform's been built really well. And you are right. Santich and McDonald in that midfield have been great. And the amount of work that they have been doing. But at the same time, Joondalup have made it easy for them, passing them the ball, not even necessarily making them win the ball all the time.
I guess you make the argument that those turnovers, that inferred pressure, because every time they pick up the ball, they know they're going to be under the pump, just like that. Stepping in and making the tackle there. I think that's one of the substitutes for Perth. Federico Achille, number 18, I believe, as Mustafa looks to get one in for Whitney to fire. Domfay looked to get to the rebound, couldn't get there ahead of the Joondalup defence, and they will clear. They will clear with a 4-0 deficit. Nicol makes that stick with Formston in his back. The other substitute ringing the changes here. Both sides. I'm sure the Perths is a case of getting some rests into the legs of the players that have done such a good job. Santich, one of those coming off. He won't get a full 90 here, but he's done the work of 90 in the however many minutes he had. Whitney was to cushion that down with the outside of the foot. Didn't go where he wanted it to, but found a teammate. Just one of those days for Perth. McDonald picks it up. We continue to keep our eye on Flory at that game. Still at 3-3. From what we know, from what we can tell, the word we are getting is that Flory are dropping points again. Perth are not taking the foot off the gas even for a second. They are ahead now by 4 goals here and by 3 points as things stand. And also have, I think, a level goal difference, so Floreat will certainly need Perth to drop points. Inglewood with a late goal against Coburn to take the lead as well. For those interested in that one, is shimmying inside there was the Joondalup forward on the far side. Couldn't keep the ball at his feet. Mustafa fizzed this one out. What a delightful pass that is for Calvin Whitney. Whitney just turning, dancing with a couple of red shirts out there. And just falling down as he tries to pass that one in. Domfay towing it out there for an offside teammate who finds the back of the net, as they've done already 4 times. This one will not count. We have another goal, Kel. Is it at Floreat?
No, not a goal at Floreat, Sean.
Another goal at Joondalup?
Goal at Joondalup, Sean.
They've got one.
No, Sean.
No, Bayswater have 7. Yes, you heard that right. Bayswater have 7. As Montgomery will come out and claim that one. That is just an unbelievable scoreline. Joondalup 0, Bayswater 7. They are asking for the score here on the balcony again. It is Joondalup 0, Bayswater 7.
As in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and as in SEVEN.
It is almost a cricket score. Unbelievable. You would not have believed it if you heard it before the day. I still almost don't believe it, Kel. I'm going to have to go and watch that one back when I get home. Still got a bit of time here as Daryl Nicol looks to get forward down the left wing. The Perth defence intervene. And I thought Perth had done well here today to score 4. Here's Hodgson. Joondalup looking for their first goal of the day. Hoff fires it into the feet of Hodgson. Has a man in his back. Doesn't spend too much time complaining. Gets on with it. And here's a chance. Achille gets a toe on for Mustafa. Mustafa's got Whitney wide and forward. He goes shorter to a runner who feeds it out now for Whitney. Colwell it was. Carried on his run. Looked to get it back. Whitney comes inside instead. Got a bit of a head of steam up. Went from second to third to fourth and then left the ball behind him. Stepping out there, Lockie Bird. Lovely work from the young man. Strides forward and finds the feet of Domfay. Gordon. Back for Domfay. He's going to turn and look to stand up his man. Back to Gordon. Just playing the simple passes, aren't they, Perth? Not trying to do too much now. And here's young Will Gordon just throwing his weight around. What little there is of it. On Oscar Malfiore, the ECU substitute. Mustafa looks to weave his way through. Somehow still has it at his feet. Stretches to get a toe on it for Whitney. Whitney slid in and flicked a foot up and getting forward now's McDonald. He's got a new lease on life. Clips one into the box. It's headed away by the Joondalup defender. Stepping in there is Whitney to take it over. Get it back from Bird. Back from McDonald. They are playing some serious football at the moment, the league leaders. Calvin Whitney just holds it off. One little 1-2 with McDonald. And then that's about one of the worst strikes we've seen today. And there is the final whistle from Julian Ceremony. We won't linger too long on that one, Kel. A performance by who I will now confidently call the champions-elect. It's hard to see anyone take it off them from here, Kel. They are playing some serious football. They are hard to beat. They are scoring goals. They have the best defence in the league. Is it Perth's to lose now?
Mate, it's Perth's to lose. They've turned up to the home of the defending champions. As they say where I've come from, they've snatched their chain, Sean. They've turned up here, snatched ECU Joondalup's chain, and it looks like it's going to be their league to win. What a phenomenal performance from the team. Phenomenal from Santich, phenomenal from McDonald, phenomenal from Domfay, phenomenal from Gorman as well. It is the performance that you want to say, listen, this league is ours, and it'd be really hard-pressed to see them not win it from here, Sean.
Well, what a team, what a game. Eyes will now turn down to Armidale, where it remains 3-3, and if the score stays that way, Perth extend their lead at the top to 3 points with just 3 games to play. To wrap things up here, Jaden Gorman was the man of the first half, stepped inside and curled one in from 18 yards for the first. Coolly slid one home from second after more fantastic work from Santich, who was lively all game. He got the reward for all his hard work in the second when he fired home from 25 to 30 yards out, Kel, and yeah, what a performance. Wrapped up by a Michael Domfay goal, which told the story of the day. Joondalup giving the ball away in a dangerous area as they did time and time again. On this occasion, it was the Perth number 10, the big man, cool as you like, stepping around contact, firing in for 4. And we end here at the campus. The table-topping Perth SC go away winners by a score of 0-4. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.